February 8, 1945. Peenemünde. Inside Nazi Germany's most secret weapons facility, a man weighing 38 kilograms is preparing to steal a bomber. It is a Heinkel He 111, 2 engines, a 74-foot wingspan, a machine built for elite crews with months of specialized training. Mikhail Devyatai has never sat in this cockpit. He has never touched these controls. He cannot read a single German label on the instruments. He is Soviet prisoner number 104534, a walking skeleton in striped rags who hasn't eaten a full meal in 8 months. His arms are so wasted that he can barely lift them to his own shoulders. In exactly 47 minutes, this dying man will climb into the pilot's seat. He will start both engines, taxi past armed guards, and attempt to take off from one of the most heavily defended airfields in the Reich. He will try to fly 300 kilometers across enemy territory while being hunted from the ground and the air. To pull back the control column and get this aircraft into the sky, it takes 50 pounds of force. Devyatai weighs 84 pounds total. He is attempting this escape with 9 other prisoners, men so starved they have forgotten the sensation of strength. They have no weapons, no tools, no maps, no radio. All they have is one Soviet fighter pilot who refuses to die in a concentration camp. This is the story of the most impossible escape of World War II. It is also the reason the Soviet Union tried to bury the truth for 12 years. 6 months earlier, in July 1944, Lieutenant Mikhail Devyatai was a god of the sky. He was banking his Yak-1 fighter through heavy fire over Lviv. 17 confirmed kills, 2 orders of the Red Banner, one of the finest pilots in the Soviet Air Force. Then, a German Focke-Wulf caught him from above. Cannon rounds shredded his engine. The Yak shudders and drops. Devyatai bails out at 2,000 feet and lands in a nightmare. German soldiers are waiting. They transfer him to a POW camp, but he cannot stop being a pilot. He tries to escape and fails. He tries again and fails. After his 3rd attempt, the Germans change his status. He is no longer a prisoner of war. He is a dangerous subversive. They send him to Sachsenhausen, a Nazi concentration camp, 30,000 prisoners, gas chambers, a death rate of 800 men per month. Devyatai arrives in late summer 1944, reduced to a number, 104534. Here, prisoners work 12-hour shifts on 700 calories a day. The average survival time is 4 months. You work until your body consumes its own organs. Then you die. Devyatai watches men collapse in the mud. He watches the smoke rise from the crematorium every night. He decides right then that he will not be part of that ash. But escape is impossible. Electrified fences, machine guns, no papers, no language skills. Then, in October 1944, the Nazis give him an opening. They need technical laborers for a secret project. Devyatai volunteers. He has no idea where they are sending him, only that anywhere is better than waiting for the ovens. They are moved to Peenemünde, an island on the Baltic Sea coast. The prisoners arrive in total darkness. In the morning, Devyatai finally understands where he is. Rockets are rising from the ground like giant silver bullets. Peenemünde, the most guarded secret in the Third Reich. This is where the V1 and V2 rockets are born, the machines currently tearing London apart. Mikhail Devyatai is here, but not as a guest. He is prisoner number 104534, a slave laborer, a walking skeleton. But every time he looks at the airfield next to the rocket pads, he doesn't see a prison. He sees Heinkel bombers, Messerschmitts, transport planes landing in a constant, rhythmic cycle. Devyatai is a predator in a cage. He isn't just working, he's hunting. He memorizes flight schedules. He tracks which tanks are topped off with fuel. He maps every sentry's path. In his previous life, he was a fighter pilot with 17 confirmed kills. Give him an engine and he is lethal. No jest problema. He has only ever flown single-engine Soviet fighters. The Heinkel HE-111 is a twin-engine beast. Its cockpit is a nightmare of over 100 switches, all labeled in a language he cannot read. It is heavy. It is complex. It is unforgiving. Most prisoners at Peenemünde are dead within 8 weeks. Deviotai has been here for 3. He knows he is running out of time. He turns every work detail into a reconnaissance mission. He stands in the freezing wind and watches German mechanics service the engines. He stares at the pilots during their pre-flight checks. He memorizes the choreography of their hands. He matches the position of an instrument to its hidden function through pure observation. One specific aircraft catches his eye. A Heinkel HE-111 with the letters GA painted on its side. It belongs to the deputy commandant. Because it belongs to a high-ranking officer, it is always fueled, always ready for an immediate takeoff. Deviotai has his target. Now, he needs a crew. В концлагере доверия это смертный приговор. The system is designed to turn prisoners into informants for the price of extra food. It destroys brotherhood. Deviotai needs men who have already had their souls burned away, men with 0 left to lose. He starts with Ivan Krenog, a former sergeant, a massive man who has already survived 2 escape attempts and the brutal beatings that followed. Krenog has reached a simple conclusion. Death by execution is better than death by exhaustion. At least escape is faster. Through Krenog, the circle expands with agonizing caution. Each man is tested. Each conversation is a gamble with the gallows. The plan Deviotai eventually whispers is pure suicidal madness. He brings in Vladimir Sokolov, a tank mechanic who understands how engines breathe. Mikhail Yelets, an infantryman small enough to move through shadows. Pyotr Kutan, an artillery observer who doesn't blink when the shells start falling. 10 men in total, 10 starving prisoners planning to steal a Nazi bomber from the heart of their secret weapons facility. The odds aren't just bad, they are non-existent. They have no guns, no tools, no map of the security grid. Deviotai is betting everything on one psychological blind spot. The Germans don't believe the impossible can happen. They guard against tunnels. They guard against wire cutters. They do not guard against a slave stealing a military aircraft. The plan is a 4-act play of terror. Step 1. Kill the guard in silence. Take the uniform. Step 2. March the group across the open tarmac as a standard work detail, led by a man in a stolen coat. Step 3. Reach aircraft GA and neutralize anyone near it. Step 4. Get inside. Fire the engines. Fly. They must be airborne before the alarm screams. Then, a 300-kilometer sprint east towards Soviet lines. Every second is a potential death sentence. One wrong step brings a challenge. The wrong plane stays silent. A slow boarding allows reinforcements to swarm. A failed engine is a steel tomb. A botched takeoff ends in fire. Even in the air, they are targets. 10 steps to freedom. Any single mistake kills them all. Mikhail Deviotai lays out the brutal truth. They will likely die trying. But staying means certain death. Every man chooses the gamble. The date is set. February 8th, 1945. February 8th, 1945. 11:30 in the morning. A thin veil of snow blankets Peenemünde. Visibility is poor. It is the perfect shroud for a desperate act. Deviotai's group moves to the runway. They are a standard maintenance detail. 10 walking ghosts and 1 guard. This has been their routine for weeks. Their warden is young and inexperienced. He does not recognize their faces. He is not watching. They move slowly, clutching their tools. They are waiting for the shadow. Ivan Krenog is the muscle. At 12:15, the guard steps into a drainage ditch. He is hidden from the towers. He is alone for 30 seconds. Ivan Krenog strikes. The shovel arcs through the freezing air. The guard collapses into the silence. They strip him in seconds. Krenog forces himself into the stolen tunic. The fabric strains against his broad shoulders. In the snow, the silhouette is enough. They are now a work detail with an escort. Normal, Expected. Krenog barks out commands in jagged, broken German. The 9 prisoners fall into a rhythmic march. Hearts hammer against ribs. Eyes lock on the horizon. Every meter is a coin toss with fate. The planes are 400 meters away. 300. A real soldier approaches. He carries a rifle and the weight of authority. Deviote's men keep their heads down. Krenog shouts something unrecognizable. The soldier pauses, then shrugs. The base is full of foreign volunteers. He lets the ghosts pass. 100 meters. Aircraft GA waits on the tarmac. 2 mechanics are preoccupied with routine checks. The engines are cold iron, but the tanks are heavy with fuel. This is the moment. Krenog gives the signal. The prisoners swarm the Hankel He-111. They move like they belong there. The mechanics look up, stunned and confused. Before a word is spoken, Pyotr Kutan and Mikhail Yelets strike. Fists and elbows finish it. The Germans are dragged away unconscious. Deviotai lunges for the cockpit door. It gives way. He pulls himself inside. A wall of glass and steel confronts him. 100 dials he has never touched. Labels in a language of the enemy. Systems he has only guessed at. He has 3 minutes before the world realizes they are gone. Mikhail Deviotai, prisoner number 104534, drags his 38-kilogram body into the pilot's seat. The air inside smells of oil and old leather. This is German engineering. Every switch and lever sits with cold, Teutonic precision. Deviotai has watched Nazi pilots from the mud. He has memorized the sequence of hand movements. But knowing the motion is not the same as feeling the machine. Deviotai reaches for the fuel primer. He pumps it, fingers searching for the ignition switches, and flips them. Silence. Behind him, 9 men are packed into a cockpit designed for 5. They are breathing down his neck, watching his every move. If these engines don't roar to life now, they are dead men. "Start it," someone hisses. But the bomber is cold. Deviotai is a fighter pilot, and this Heinkel is a complex foreign beast. He is missing a step. He scans the instrument panel, eyes darting until they land on a single toggle. The battery switch. He hammers it up. The dashboard flickers into a dim glow. Ignition. The left engine coughs, a jagged metallic choke, then it catches. The propeller turns into a blur. Then the right engine follows. Fuel prime. Ignite. Both are humming, but the danger is just beginning. Deviotai has never steered a twin-engine aircraft on the ground. It is a violent dance of differential braking. To turn left, he must stomp the left brake. To turn right, the right. One mistake, and he ground loops the massive bird. One more, and he flips 14,000 kilograms of steel onto its back. He releases the wheel brakes. The Hankel He-111 surges forward, rolling too fast. He is heading straight for a parked aircraft. He slams the left brake. The bomber lurches, sloughing sideways, nearly tipping onto its wing. Inside, the prisoners are hurled against the metal walls. Someone curses. Deviotai fights the controls until he finds the balance. Small, gentle corrections guide the aircraft onto the path. But the silence is gone. Behind them, shouts in German erupt over the wind. A siren begins to wail. A high, piercing scream across the airfield. They are 500 meters from the runway. 400. A truck swerves from behind a hangar, tires kicking up slush. Soldiers are in the back, rifles leveled at the taxiing bomber. 300 meters. The truck is closing the gap. If they reach the wing, it is over. One bullet through the cockpit glass, one shot to the tire, and the escape ends in a fireball. 200 meters. Deviotai swings the nose onto the center line. The truck is only 100 meters behind. He shoves both throttles to the wall. The Hankel He-111 is a monster of 14,000 kilograms. To lift it, a pilot must pull the control column with 50 pounds of pure force to rotate the nose. Mikhail Deviotai weighs 38 kilograms. He is a walking skeleton. 8 months of starvation have forced his body to consume its own muscle. He pulls. The column does not move. He is not strong enough. The aircraft is screaming down the runway at 140 kilometers per hour, but the nose is glued to the earth. Behind them, the truck has reached the runway edge. Soldiers are jumping out, raising their Mausers. If the bomber doesn't lift in the next 10 seconds, they will run out of concrete and smash into the perimeter fence. Devyatai screams for help. Two prisoners, Vladimir Sokolov and Pyotr Kutan, scramble forward through the chaos. They grab the control column with Devyatai. 3 starving men against the laws of physics. They pull until their veins look ready to burst. The column moves an inch, then 2. Bullets shatter the air around the cockpit. Someone in the back is screaming, either from a wound or pure terror. The nose rises. The vibration of the wheels stops. Aircraft GA, the Hankel HE-111 carrying 10 ghosts, becomes airborne at 12:21 p.m. on February 8, 1945. They climb into the suffocating grey sky. Snow swirls around the wings as the airfield vanishes below. For a moment, there is only the hum of the engines. The anti-aircraft batteries at Peenemünde scream to life. High explosive rounds shatter the air around the Hankel He-111. Black blooms of smoke choke the sky. Shrapnel claws at the fuselage like jagged fingernails. Mikhail Devyatai jerks the heavy bomber into a sharp western bank. He is fainting. He needs the Germans to guess wrong. He swings north over the freezing Baltic Sea, then banks hard east toward the Soviet lines. For 2 minutes, the gunners below track his every move. Then, the aircraft vanishes into the clouds. Inside the cabin, it is pure chaos. One prisoner is hit, blood everywhere. They have no medical supplies. A man rips a strip of fabric from his own thin prison uniform to bind the wound. The Hankel He-111 groans. Mikhail Devyatai can feel the damage, but he cannot quantify it. He has no idea how much fuel is left. He has no idea where they are. The German dials and radio beacons are meaningless to him. He was never trained for this cockpit. He navigates by pure instinct. East. He must keep flying east. The altitude needle sits at 2,000 meters. The airspeed holds at 280 kilometers per hour. He looks at the German fuel gauge, but the symbols are a mystery. They have been in the air for 20 minutes. Below the clouds, every road and forest is crawling with the German army. They are still 200 kilometers from safety. Mikhail Devyatai shutters the throttles forward. Every passing mile is a victory. 40 minutes. The fuel needle is buried in the red. 50 minutes. A plume of black smoke begins trailing from the left engine. The shrapnel from Peenemünde has finally severed something vital. Mikhail Devyatai fights the controls. He adjusts the mixture and cuts power to the dying engine, trying to keep the wings level. The Hankel He-111 wants to yaw left, dragging itself toward the earth. He wrestles the yoke with everything he has. 60 minutes. The landscape below transforms. Shell craters, scorched villages, the signature of total war. They have reached the front. And that is when the Soviet batteries see a German bomber diving toward their positions. What happens next is a tragedy unique to the Soviet Union. It is a moment of such cold absurdity that it will haunt these survivors forever. If you are finding this story as incredible as we do, please subscribe. It helps us keep these histories alive. The Red Army gunners see a Nazi silhouette, and they do not hesitate. They open fire on their own men. Tracers arc upward in glowing ribbons. Mikhail Devyatai tries to throw the bomber into an evasive roll, but the machine is too heavy, too broken. Bullets stitch across the metal skin. Men are screaming in the back. Then, the left engine vanishes in a ball of fire. Actual flames lick the cowling. Boiling oil sprays across the wing. The engine dies. On a single motor, the Hankel He-111 cannot stay in the sky. It begins a terminal descent. 1,000 meters. 600. Mikhail Devyatai can see the Soviet trenches now. He can see the faces of the soldiers looking up at him. 300 meters. He has seconds to make a choice. reach a proper runway and risk the second engine dying, or put the bomber down in the dirt. He chooses the snow. Devyatai pulls the yoke back. The Hankel He-111 slams into the earth like a falling shell. The landing gear snaps instantly. The belly of the aircraft screams against the frozen ground. Metal tears. The propeller shatters, spraying lethal shards into the fuselage. Snow blinds the cockpit. For 200 meters, the bomber tears itself apart before finally grinding to a halt. Devyatai is a ghost, bleeding, trembling, barely clinging to consciousness. He looks back. 9 shadows move in the wreckage. Every single one is alive. Move now. They stumble through the torn hull and collapse into the drifts. Fuel hisses against hot engine blocks as they crawl away from the fire. From the nearby trenches, Soviet infantry charge toward the smoke, rifles leveled, shouting in Russian. Devyatai stands to meet them. He is a walking skeleton, 38 kilograms of bone wrapped in blood-stained prisoner stripes. The soldiers stare at him. No one believes the skeleton. Then, the nightmare deepens. Soviet counterintelligence seizes them immediately. They aren't greeted as heroes, but as suspects. For weeks, the interrogations never stop. How did you survive when millions died? Why did the Germans let you fly? Are you spies? Collaborators? Traitors? Devyatai tells them everything. He gives them the coordinates of the V-2 launch sites, the exact layout of Peenemünde. Information that would eventually ignite the Soviet space program. There is no gratitude. They strip him of his status and dump him into a penal military unit, still under a cloud of suspicion. The war ends 3 months later. Devyatai is released into a world that doesn't want him. No rank, no pilot status, no medals. He returns home to a wall of silence. His story is buried under a classification stamp. Soviet doctrine is absolute. A real soldier dies in battle. Anyone who survives a camp is a traitor. For 12 years, Mikhail Devyatai is a non-person. While his secrets build rockets for the state, he works a mundane job in total obscurity. Everything changes in 1957. Rocket scientist Sergei Korolev finally tells the officials the truth. This man's impossible flight is what allowed the Soviet Union to reach for the stars. On August 15, 1957, 12 years after the escape, the state finally yields. Devyatai is named a hero of the Soviet Union. It is the highest honor. For an act of courage his own government tried to erase. He was 38 kilograms when he hijacked that bomber. He flew through a wall of flak and saved 9 men. Then his country treated him like a criminal for over a decade. Sometimes, surviving the enemy isn't the hard part. It is surviving what comes after.